Welcome, guys. It's Mardi Gras. I hope you feel the joy and everything that comes with Mardi Gras. We've got a king cake here that you're going to learn how to make. And it's an awesome cake, but let me tell you something, there's no preservatives. No preservatives. So what we're going to do now, this cake takes 5 hours. I hope y'all are sit back in your chair and relaxed and ready to sit there for a while. 5 hours is what it takes to make this cake. Y'all ready for 5 hours? Well, it's not going to be 5 hours. No, the magic of television, I'm going to leave these beads alone, okay, because they're, okay. The magic of TV is going to shorten that 5 hours. Completely shorten that 5 hours. And so what we're going to do, I tell you what, you ready to learn? Let's get started, okay? And here we are again. Okay, so to get this Mardi Gras cake going, I've got 2½ cups of flour and 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast already down in the bowl. What we're going to do, we're going to turn this on for just a few seconds to get that incorporated real good. Okay. Looks like that's mixed up pretty good now. Okay, now what we're going to do, here in this pot, I've already put 1/4 cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of sugar, and 1 teaspoon of salt in the pot. We have a cup of milk. Now we're going to put this milk right on down here in this pot. And we're going to stir this up. Yes, we are. I won't break out in song this time. It was tough for me last week because I almost broke out in song. All right, we're going to stir that up real good. Now what we've got to do with this, we've got to take this mixture over to our wonderful, remember this? Yes. But we're not putting it in the oven right now, we're just cooking on top. So we're going to take this over there. We want to heat this mixture anywhere from 120 to 130 degrees. So, in my opinion, the best number to get to is 125. Go figure. So I'd bring out my handy dandy little candy thermometer, and of course it's got the mark at 100. It's got your red mark at 100 and a red mark at 150, and we want to go to the little mark between those two. Remember math? Okay. We're going to hook this onto the pot. Now, folks, when you, and another tip, when you're using these candy thermometers and you want you're measuring your heat, of course, don't let the tip of the thermometer touch the bottom of the pot because you're going to get a false reading. And that's not going to tell you that's going to tell you how hot the bottom of the pot is, but that don't always mean that's how hot the contents is. So when you hook your little candy thermometer on the little pot, make sure that this hook is adjusted to where it doesn't touch the bottom. Okay, especially if you're doing fudge. All right, we've got this all mixed up. We're going to step over here. Voila! Now this ain't going to take long on a gas range. It won't take long to get to 120 degrees, at 125 degrees at all. And y'all will excuse me while I keep looking because I'm half blind in one eye and can't see out the other one. That's what my mama used to always say. Okay, here we go. We're going to heat this up. I have this on like a little bit above low because I don't want to scald the milk. I don't want to scald this. I want the sugar to dissolve. and I want it to get up to 125 degrees. Okay, you can do it. You watch this real close, because you really, with milk, you really don't want it to scald, because it will scald real quick, especially on a gas range. And we're almost there. Are we having fun? Yes, we're having fun. It's Mardi Gras. What do you expect? Oh my goodness. So how many of y'all tried the whoopie pies last week? Did y'all see my update? I wanted to post the update because, you know, when you make a recipe so many times and you get used to it and you do this and you do that, you kind of forget. It just comes natural. That's why I updated you guys on the filling, because I tweaked it. Yes, I did. I tweaked it. So I hope you guys checked out that update. Thank you, Tiffany, for helping me with that, reminding me. I needed that update. Okay, almost, guys. I'm going to give it a little bit more fire, because since I am right here and watching that little red thermometer go up and up and up, that's one thing about a gas range. I love a gas range, because when you turn that fire is off. You don't have to worry. So how many of you guys celebrate Mardi Gras? Shoot, you know, half the time we don't even need a reason to celebrate. Let's just celebrate. Almost there. Almost there. We're almost there. And we are there. We are there. Okay, now see, that didn't take too long. It took kind of long. This thing is warm. Yes, it is. Oh, and another thing, I have a habit of just kind of beating my spoon on the side of the pot. Please don't do that with this. These are glass. Okay, don't do that with this. Okay, I have to remind myself. I wasn't reminding y'all, I was reminding myself. All right, now what we're going to do, we're going to pour this. I just want to double check on the old temperature, make sure we're where we need to be. I don't want to cook my yeast, I just want to activate my yeast. Yes, perfect. 125 degrees. Here we go. All right, now I'm going to turn on my mixer. We're going to slowly add the liquid into the flour and yeast, okay? Here we go. Without making a mess. Yeah, without making a mess. Slowly finish that off. Good job. Let that mix up in there. Okay, so it's getting pretty thick. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our eggs and we're going to add one egg at a time. And let that mix up. It smells like yeast bread. I love the smell of yeast. There we go. It's mixing up real good. Okay, now we're going to add the last egg. So that is a total. If y'all are keeping track, that's a total of 2 eggs. That math coming in again. Isn't that awesome? Okay, so we're going to mix that. We want that to become what looks like a shaggy dough. It's just kind of there, you know. It's looking pretty good. That's looking pretty shaggy to me. What do y'all think? Shaggy, shaggy dough. So once that, I think that's pretty shaggy myself. Okay, we're going to turn off our mixer. Then we're going to lower off this off the paddle. We're going to change out. We're going to swap out the paddle for the dough hook. Let's clean this paddle off as best we can. Make sure that we've got any excess shaggy dough. Shaggy dough. Okay. Well, see, I'm beating my spoon on the side of the thing again. That's just what I do, guys. That's just what I do. Now we're going to pop our dough hook on. Bring our bowl back up. Now we've got 1 cup of flour that we need to get incorporated here. So what we're going to do, we're going to start our dough hook, and we're going to start adding our flour just a little at a time. Now, make sure that when you're doing this, you don't want your mixer to get too fast. That's why we stay on low, because you don't want to beat a whole lot of air into this, because we want a little more dense dough. So, just keep adding our flour a little bit at a time while I make a mess. Okay, now, hold on. We're going to take our spoon, we're going to push down the flour to make sure that the dough hook gets it all incorporated in there. I'm flapping flour all over the place, guys. Yeah, that's me. My kitchen's a wreck whenever I get done, but that's okay. That's okay. All right. So we're going to bring the bowl back up now. Let that dough hook work that excess flour in. Good job. Add some more flour. Now keep in mind, each one of these cups hold a half a cup of flour. So we're adding 2 halves make a whole. Remember that last week? I tell you what, we're doing all kinds of math learning and everything. Let that all mix up together. Looking good. Oh, it smells so good. I love the smell of yeast. Yeast bread, yeast dough. Mixing in pretty good. Let's stop one more time. Let's get all that excess down in the bottom, all incorporated. Very good. Very good. Do y'all make yeast at home very often? My daughter just got her a bread maker for Christmas. She's loving that thing. She's made yeast rolls for every supper since Christmas. Okay, we're finishing out that last bit of flour, so that means all of our 1 cup is in the bowl. And I have made a mess. Looking good. Make sure you want to see that extra flour down in there. You want to make sure all of that is incorporated into your dough. Even though it seems like it's not happy, it is happy. Let's stop this for just a second. Bring this down. Get this off the dough hook so it can start incorporating even more. Yes. Mardi Gras, y'all. There I go beating that bowl again. That's me. Whoa. Okay. Make sure you keep it on low. Now what we're going to do, we're going to start adding our butter. We have 6 tablespoons of butter. We're going to add it 1 tablespoon at a time and let that work in. Okay? There goes 1. Yes. Looking good, looking good. All right, let's put another one in there, just for the fun of it. What do you think? Okay, let's might as well do another one. Okay, hold on a second. Let's get this all incorporated back in there. Keeping that dough hook cleaned off is a very important factor when you're making dough, because that stuff can get all wrapped around your dough hook. Here we go, one more time. Look at that. Yes, that's beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, let's get some more butter in there. Okay. More butter. Hey, butter makes everything better. More butter. A little bit more to get in there. Here, let's stop this. Get this butter back down in there. Let's go, guys. Let's get this butter down in there. Okay, we're going to crank her back up. And we're going to put the last of the butter last of the butter. Okay, so now what we're going to do, once this butter is all incorporated, we need to let this dough knead. Kneady dough. You know, go figure. So what we'll do, we'll let this dough knead for a total of 8 minutes. What we're going to do, we're going to stop every 2 minutes of that. Set your timer for 2 minutes. We're going to do that 4 times. Get it? 2 minutes for 4 times, that adds up to 8 minutes. We're doing math all over the place. So we'll clean off the dough hook and we will let it knead for 8 minutes. Hang on. Let's make sure all the butter's incorporated before we start our final knead process. Kneady dough. Goodness gracious. I think I just hit the camera. I'm sorry, guys. Did y'all's head just go like that right there? Okay. Okay. We're going to... Okay, so what I'm going to do now, since all of this is incorporated, we're going to start our timer for 2 minutes. Let that dough knead for a good 2 minutes while we sit and watch it. Is that not beautiful? That is just a beautiful thing right there. Oh my goodness. Yes, it is. So once this dough kneads for 8 minutes, then we're going to do something else to it. Go figure. Now, we're back. Can you see how the dough is pulling away from the bowl? When you see that, you know your dough is... Look at that. It is time to take the dough out. We have kneaded our dough, our kneady dough. Oh my goodness, poor kneady dough. When the dough starts pulling away from the bowl like that, you know that it's like saying, I am ready. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to get that off of that hook. We're going to take the hook out. Remove the hook. Remove the hook. Okay. Now what we want to turn our dough out onto a floured surface. So I have flour. Get some all-purpose flour and just put it out here because this has been kneading in the bowl. So all we need to do is get it out of the bowl and kind of shape it. Now what I've done, I have oiled the bowl that it's going to go in. You just put a light coating of oil all around the bowl. Some people like to spray with the spray stuff, and as I said last week, I will be telling you why in a few weeks, why I don't care for that stuff. I just use regular vegetable oil the bowl. Okay, so here we go. Let us turn our dough out onto the floured surface. There you go. Is that not the prettiest dough? Oh my goodness, look at that, guys. That's so pretty. So we don't want to knead it a lot. We just want to put it into a nice little bun. Look how pretty that is. That's some pretty dough right there. We're going to have us a pretty Mardi Gras cake. Okay, we're going to put that there. We want to set this down in our oiled bowl. Now I have just a few drops of oil that I've put in this little container, and what you want to do, you just want to rub the top, of your dough with the oil. Real light coat, folks. Don't go give it a bath or anything, you know. No. We don't want an oil bath on our dough. We just want it because it's sitting against the oil in the bottom of the bowl, and we want it to have a nice smooth skin of oil on the top. Now, what we're going to do now, we're going to take our saran wrap. We're going to cover our bowl tightly, airtight, and boy, did I get enough saran wrap or what? Could cover 2 bowls with this. Don't tell nobody. That's our little secret, okay? Yeah, I kind of got too much saran wrap. All right, so we want to get this bowl covered real good and tight. And this time, most of your yeast doughs, you set it out to rise. But we're not going to do that with this because we want a denser dough. So we're going to set it in the refrigerator, and we're going to take that, we're going to do that. Let it sit there for 1 hour. No, you don't have to sit here for an hour and just watch my refrigerator. Hang tight. Set that right in there. Now, with the magic of TV, hang tight. I'll be right back. Voila. Okay, look what we've got. We've had our dough in the refrigerator now for an hour, chilling, and it is ready to do its thing. So what we're going to do, we need to take this saran wrap off the top. We're going to get us some flour. We want to flour our surface really good before we lay our dough out, because we're fixing to roll this thing. Rolling, rolling, roll. Here we go. Sorry about that. I just kind of break out in song. It's like I don't know why. It just all the time. You make everything a song. You know, it's like that music video said, don't let anything steal your joy. Okay? Did y'all like that music video? Oh my goodness, that's one of my favorites. One of my favorites. I have a ton of favorites. But that's one of my favorites. I love it. I love it. It takes me back to when I was growing up in the church, and we would have the big choirs and all this kind of stuff. Okay, so we've got, let's put our dough right down here. There you go. Look at that. That dough's so happy to be out of that refrigerator. I would be too. Okay, so what we need to do, we want to create a long strip of dough, okay? So we want to kind of somewhat shape this before we put the roller on it, so that we kind of get it guided in the right direction, kind of like what we do with our children's. Most times it works, sometimes it don't work, but then again, when the children goes and does their own thing, then they come back, and let me tell you what, it's sweeter than it was before. So, just saying that. All right, so we've got this elongated. That's a new word I learned. Tiffany, you proud of me, baby? I learned some new words. All right, we want to flour. We don't want nothing to stick, okay? So we're going to just start real gently, going back and forth. We want to make sure we can get a good, nice, long piece of dough. Look at this, guys. Oh my gosh, here we go. It's doing really good. I got to tell y'all a little joke while I'm doing this. It's not really a joke because it wasn't really funny, to be honest with you. So I was working on this, trying to perfect my recipe, and I'm getting flour all over me. But the life of a chef. So I got to this part right here, and I couldn't figure it out. I was like, wow, what is going on here? Every time I rolled the dough out, it came right straight back to me again. Oh, what in the world? I had used the wrong flour. I had used my bread flour, and the bread flour with all the gluten in it was making it act like a rubber band. So, yeah. So even, it doesn't matter. You can always make a mistake, but guess what? You can fix it. That's what my granddaughter said the other night. You can fix it. You can fix it. Okay, now let me show you something. The food safety instructor in me. All right, now we always need to keep a ruler handy because when we're doing this kind of stuff, because you want to measure it and make sure you're getting the right size. So you're not just going to plop a ruler down on top of it. If you're using a ruler, which I use the old school type of ruler, cover it in saran wrap to make it food safe. Okay, so that your ruler's not touching your dough. Please. Okay, so right now the trifocals have not kicked in yet. So we're doing pretty good so far. 12. Hey, we're almost there, y'all. Okay, I'm going to try to get this even. We want to look at trying to have a 10-inch by 24-inch rectangle. That's 10-inch by 24-inch. Okay? And there's no fractions in that. My granddaughter told me the other day that they started learning fractions. I was so proud of her. She's doing really good in school, too. All my grandbabies are doing good in school. Lane and Sadie and Logan, Jace, all of them's doing good in school. I'm so proud of my grandbabies. Okay. Looks like we're getting there, folks. Well, it's not perfect here, but we're going to make it. We're going to make it work. What you think? Okay. Now, let's see. Hey, Fred. Looks like Fred's got some company. Okay, so we're up to 12, which that's okay. That's okay. We're a little shy there. But yeah. Okay. A little bit more working right here. Okay. All right, now that's close enough to perfect for me. Okay, that was an Alabama song. Anybody remember that song? No, I'm not gonna break out in song. Okay, I can hear Tiffany now. Mom, please don't sing. Okay, so let's look at here and let's mark that right in the middle there. Okay, I'm going to come down here, guys, so excuse me for just a second. We're going to take our pizza cutter. We're going to go right through there, right down the middle. Look at there, look at there, look at there. Okay, we want to separate these two. And they're going to, you know, they are going to retract some, but that's okay. We're the boss, and we make it happen. I used to tell my students all the time, it's only sugar. You make that sugar do what you want it to do, not what it wants to do. I think that's right. There we go. All right, so we've got 2, 2, 1, 2. That math comes in real good. Okay, so while we were away, I made some pecan. Yes, it's pecan. I was born and raised in the South, and I can guarantee you there's some deep Southern folks watching right now that also says pecan. My daughter being one of them. So it's pecan praline. Thank you. Okay. We're going to put some of this right down the middle of one of these. Now, there are many different. Let me talk to you about this for a minute. There are all types of fillings that you can put in here. I use a two rope braid. You can do anything. You can use cinnamon and sugar, which is the most traditional. We're going to use the pecan praline. this time. And let me tell you something, it smells really good. It is really good. It's got, and I'll have the recipe for you. We have toasted pecans, we have brown sugar, we have butter, we have maple extract. We're going to make us a tube of this to go right down the center. Oh my Lord, have mercy. I love me some pecan pralines. Lord have mercy. But you can also put, a fruit filling in them. All types of fillings can go in these things. You're not limited to just one thing. So when I make these king cakes, I always ask my customers, what kind of fillings do you want? And that's, boy, this is looking good. I declare I love me some pecan praline. I make that praline fudge, the panucci fudge, and it's really good. The maple fudge is good. I make that too. Oh my. Okay, so we're getting us a nice little roll. And you know what? I'm just going to use all of this stuff in here. We're going to get all the goodness. All the goodness. Yes, as much goodness as we can possibly have. We're going to put it right in here. Because let me tell you something. If you eat it quickly, the calories don't catch up. No, that's not true. That's a good thought, isn't it? Okay, so we've got our little praline tunnel here going on. Now, I'm gonna go ahead. Now the other flavor that we're putting in the other rope is cream cheese. I'll have this recipe for you as well. You make these fillings ahead of time so that when we get to this part, you don't have to stop, because when you're working with yeast, time is very important. The time, you've got to be right on the time or you're going to lose your dough. So here we go. We're going to put a big old layer. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Look at that cream cheese going up down it. Oh, love me some cream cheese. Have mercy. Have mercy. We're going to fill this thing up. This stuff smells so good. It's just a shame. You would think with technology they'd be done come up with smell-o-vision, but my Lord, I guess folks would be licking the TV screen. Sometimes some of that stuff makes you want to do crazy stuff. Okay. We're not going to bring it all the way out to the edge because we're going to be attaching each edge once we start with our rope. So we want to make sure that we don't overfill, but at the same time we don't want to underfill neither. Okay, now I have my water out here. We're going to bring the edge over the praline. And I'm trying to stay away from saying pecan as much as possible because I know I know somebody's going to say something. But that's okay. All right, we're going to lift this up and over. Up and over. Oh my goodness, this is so good. Now, we're going to dip our finger in the water just a bit, just a touch, not a lot. We don't want to baptize it. We just want to wet it just a little bit so that it will adhere. We save the baptizing for the preachers. We just do some dipping right here. Want to pinch those edges together because we don't want to lose the goodness when we start baking. Okay, hang on, I'll fix that end in just a minute. Is this fun, y'all? We are Mardi Gras BackRoads style. Here we go. This is going to be good, guys. So, y'all like that music video? I tell you what, I was raised in the church, played the piano in the church. Actually, yeah, played the piano, started, goodness, I think I was about 10 or 12 years old when I got on that piano bench. Then I started playing the piano for Southern Quartet. Traveled with them for a long time. Okay. Now, what I've done, and it might not look real pretty right now, but I promise you it will. See, dough is very forgiving. It will, you can do all kinds of stuff with it, and it'll just sit there and let you. So we got all that pinched together. Now here we go. We're going to bring that over. Now, with the cream cheese, we need to be a little more gentle because the cream cheese is a bit looser than the praline was. So we want to be very gentle, whereas not to lose our cream cheese. Okay? We need to just not baptize, but we need to get that water on there. This is going to be good. Don't y'all love the magic of TV? Because this is about, I'll tell you guys, from start to finish, including your fillings and everything else, it's about a 5-hour process. So I knew I didn't have near no 5 hours to do this, and I'd have lost every one of y'all if I'd have tried. But with the magic of TV, we're going to condense this down only to 2 hours. No, not kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah, I can just, Tiffany can check that number right now. I'm sure when I just said 2 hours, that whole timeline just took a nosedive. It has lost everybody just then. I ain't staying 2 hours. Okay. All right, here we go. Oh my goodness, this is so awesome. This is the good part. Okay, now we're going to take this. We're going to turn this over because we want the seam on the bottom. We want the seam on the bottom. Okay? We're going to turn this over because we want the seam on the bottom. All right, now, we've got ourselves 2 ropes. What we do, we're going to start at one end. We're going to take our water and we're going to pinch that end together. We're going to lift up one gently. Come over. Lift this one up and come over. Okay. Okay. Take our water, connect this end together. Okay. Now, we're going to bring our pan up without hitting the camera. We're going to bring our pan up. We're going to transfer this over to the pan. Now, I know that this part right here might not seem as pretty, but let's get our water. Let's connect these two. Get them all stuck together. Okay. I know that that right there might not be as pretty as the rest of it is, but once it rises and you get the icing and all the sugars on it, you'll never know the difference, okay? So, next thing, we cover this with saran wrap. Again. And I just grabbed my water bucket. We're going to cover this in saran wrap. Goodness gracious, don't you love saran wrap? It sticks to everything and what it's supposed to. Once again, the magic of TV is fixing to rock and roll because we've got to let this rise for an hour. One more hour. Y'all only have to sit here and wait for one more hour. No, you don't. We're going to sit here. We will be back. Don't go anywhere because the best is yet to come. We get to ice this thing, and then we get to put sugars on it, and I will show you about, okay, right here, right now, let me tell you something. No, I did not put the baby in the cake. There are those that do. I'm not one of them. You will never get a king cake from me that has the baby baked in. But I'll show you what I do with the baby when we come back. All right? Sit right there. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back. TV magic once again. Okay, we've been waiting an hour. Our king cake has done its final rise. So what we're going to do, we're going to take off the saran wrap. Look at that. Isn't that so pretty? Oh my goodness. Okay, now we're going to do an egg wash. Some people don't. I do. Okay, so we've got one egg in this little bowl, and we're going to put a splash of milk in there. We're going to mix this up really, really, really good. Have y'all had fun so far? I know there's a lot of technical stuff to making these king cakes, but let me tell you something. They're well worth it. They're well worth the time and the effort because they're really good. Okay, so we've gotten this all beat up real well. We're going to take our pastry brush. Now we're going to lightly coat all over, because what this egg wash is going to do, egg wash is going to leave this king cake with a shiny coat. It's going to have a shiny coat. And it will be very, very pretty before we put our icing on it and our sugars. And don't forget, I'm going to show you how we include the baby without baking it into this cake. Some people do. I don't. Okay, so we're putting a nice coat of egg wash, egg and milk on this. Makes it so pretty. Such a pretty, shiny king cake. Make sure you don't have any big clumps of of egg sitting there. You want to make sure it's all brushed out. Now we've preheated our oven to 350 degrees. And our king cake is going to bake. And you know, this varies. It varies a lot depending on how much filling you have in here in the ropes and stuff. So, you know, the start time is 20 minutes to 35 minutes. And you know, you want it to be nice and golden brown, not dark brown, because then you've overbaked your king cake. But we also want the interior to get done as well. So when I'm doing this size with this much filling, I usually run it about 30 minutes, but I check it at 25. So what we're going to do, we're going to put this in the oven, and then we'll be back, right here. It's me again. Hey, I don't know what to tell you about the whole Facebook thing. I'm sorry. I noticed that the broadcast was getting interrupted. It's Facebook. Alan, message me. We'll talk about the cameras. Okay, so you guys know about my wonderful magic oven, right? So the last time you saw me, I was putting the king cake in. So let's see what we can bring out. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Is this not gorgeous? Look at that. See what the egg wash has done for us? It's given us a nice shiny brown coat. Oh, I wish you could smell this stuff. Okay, so again, we have our gloves. Tiffany, you had said you want to know about the baby. I don't bake. For you guys out there that many of you say that you make king cakes and stuff. You know, that's amazing. That's wonderful. I love king cakes. But for me personally, I don't bake the baby in the cake. Okay? So here's our little baby. Of course, Fred's got a green one. Yeah, here's the little baby. So what we do, we just lift up the cake. Now keep in mind it's hot, right fresh out of the oven. No. You let it cool down. Cut out a little hole. Baby up in there. Okay. There we go. Now, I have mixed up, you know, again, this is your own preference. I have mixed up a icing. The recipe will be on the page. It's just simply powdered sugar, milk. Now I use lemon extract because I like the hint of lemon that brings out the flavor. Now, one thing I don't know if you noticed or not, but in this dough, there's only 1/4 cup of sugar in the whole dough. So the dough's not a sweet dough. The filling, yeah, there's some sugar in the filling, and there's going to be some sugar on top, but the dough itself is not a very sweet dough. So we're going to brush. First, let's do this. Let's take our wax paper, put under the edge. I'm trying to hurry, guys. I know y'all been sitting there through the Facebook ins and outs. Feel really bad about that, but some things you can't do anything about. Okay, so we've got that center on our board. We've got our wax paper to catch any drips or any excess sugar or something. So we're going to start painting. We want to paint the icing on. You don't have to be super perfect with this. Just get it on there. Alright, we're going to take, now you know, do you guys understand what the purples and the greens and the golds represent? We're going to start with the gold. The gold represents power. And if someone out there knows better than I, please correct me on the comments. But it's my understanding that the gold represents power. Okay, now there are some people with this. Oh, Ingrid, you're so precious. God love you, baby. She said that she would stay with me 5 hours and watch me. She's so sweet. But let's continue to paint here. Alan, if you're still with me, I hope you'll watch the replay. You and Jan can sit there and watch the replay. I think you'll enjoy it. Okay, so let's go with purple. From what I understand, the purple means justice. Oh my goodness, that looks good. Okay. We're going to paint some more, y'all. Now, there is one thing that I'm not quite sure of, and maybe someone out there, some of the big Mardi Gras celebrators can tell me. I've heard different stories as to, so far as the baby is concerned, whoever finds the baby, and I was talking about this with a friend of ours the other night. We went to visit. I've heard that if you get the baby, if you're the lucky one to get the piece that has the baby in it, I've heard that it means good luck for 1 year. I've also heard that it means that next year you're the one that's got to have the party. So the party is up to you next year. So I don't know. I don't know. Some of you avid Mardi Gras folks, maybe y'all can correct me on that in the comments or let me know. Okay, here we go. Shelly, you should know about the Mardi Gras stuff, so let me know if I'm telling it right, or which one's right, or if both are right, or... Now, there are some folks that will go ahead and color their icing instead of, where do we go now? We go yellow. Yes, Debbie, I will post the recipe, hun. They color their icing instead of putting the sugars on there. I just think the sugars are kind of fun myself. And you can put as much or as little as you want. That's up to you. This is really good. I guess all my grandbabies have gone to bed by now. I love my grandbabies. Okay. And the last color we have is Donna, I don't know about the history of the king cake baby. Maybe someone that's on here that has more knowledge of the whole king cake Mardi Gras thing can tell you. I have no idea. I really don't. Oopsie. I really don't. Okay. Let's get this out of the way. Well, I've made a mess, y'all. I declare. I make a mess every time you turn around. Every time. Here I am. I tell my daughter, don't make a mess, but look what her mama's doing. Okay, there's one. Just pull that out from underneath. Very gently. And look what we have.